is a testamentary trust? So a testamentary trust is actually any trust that's set up under a will. It's called testamentary because it only set up after you pass away. There are a lot of different types of trusts that you can set up in a will. But when people refer to a testamentary trust, most people are actually talking about a testamentary discretionary trust. So there's lots of flexibility in these trusts and lots of tax benefits as well as asset protection benefits for the next generation and generations to come in particular. Now, if we use the example of leaving funds to minor children, you may, for example, leave funds for a child in your will once they turn 25. That automatically sets up what's called a minor's trust. And then once they reach that age of 25, they get that inheritance in their own name. The difference with a testamentary discretionary trust is that it continues on. After the child turns 25 or whatever age you've nominated, they can actually then control the trust. They don't get the inheritance into their own name. It stays in the trust, which gives them asset protection. And testamentary discretionary trusts actually have better tax treatments than any other kind of trust that exists in Australia at the moment. So there's a lot of tax concessions. They can do income splitting down to minor children, to your grandchildren and potentially great-grandchildren, so there can be tax-free income for the family in the future.
So this slide shows an example of a testamentary trust. Scenario 1 is where the child has either not been given the option of a testamentary trust or chooses not to take their inheritance of $1 million in the trust. They take it as a lump sum, and you can see then on $1 million of investment at 6%, they're earning about $60,000 a year from that $1 million, and that's all in their own name. So they pay income tax at whatever rate they earn their other income at. So you can see that post income tax, out of that $60,000, they're probably only going to save or keep rather about $36,900. Scenario 2 is where the child takes their inheritance in the testamentary trust. So the same investment is utilised and the $1 million is still getting 6%. So there's $60,000 being earned in the trust. Now, this child has 2 minor children of their own. So that $60,000 is split up into 3 chunks of $20,000 each, and the trust distributes it to the beneficiary as well as the 2 children of the beneficiary. And because that keeps the income almost below the tax-free threshold, their tax saving is significant. The tax saving is about $21,000 a year. So that's $21,000 more in the pocket to be utilised by the beneficiary for the raising of those children.
So I really recommend that you at least consider a testamentary discretionary trust in your wills, particularly if you've got not only minor children, but children who are in business for themselves or children who are professionals who want to make sure that if they become liable in their profession, their inheritance is not at risk. If you don't provide this option in your will, it's not available at all. So better to have a look at it than not.